In this Winning with SketchUp video, we're going to take a look at the plugin SubD, and we're going to use it along with some subdivision modeling techniques to begin modeling this outdoor chair. We're going to begin by modeling a piece of this ornamental detail on the back of the chair. To do this, I'm going to start with the BZ toolbar, and I'm going to start with the Polyline Tool. So I'm going to click on the Polyline Tool, and I'm going to go around and do a series of clicks here in the center of the piece of our reference image that we're creating. And I'm going to be mindful that I'm staying in the center here. And as this piece that we're creating gets a little bit wider here in the curve, I'm going to increase the distance between segments here, or between clicks, and create longer segments. And then as we come around here and we get a little bit tighter in the radius of the piece that we're creating, I'm going to have smaller segments here, so less distance between our clicks. And when we're done, we can just double click. And what's nice about Polyline is we can get in now and we can adjust the polyline and line it up to our reference image where we need it. And we can toggle the reference image off and take a look at this. We have 20 segments in a welded curve, and overall that looks pretty good, but we can check that here in a second, and we can tweak that afterwards if we need to. So let's get back here. What we want to do now is create a profile. So we need to measure the width that we need. Say we need about 3 inches. We're going to use the perpendicular square from the perpendicular face tools, and these are from Chris Fulmer. So this is a plugin set from him. You can get that in the extension warehouse, and run the perpendicular square, and then we're going to type 3 inches, enter. And what that will do, we're going to click here at the end of our polyline, and that placed a 3 inch by 3 inch grouped square perfectly perpendicular to this edge here where we clicked. So no matter where we click here, if we click in the middle of a line, it will place that perfectly in the center and perpendicular. So it really works well for follow me operations. And you can also use custom profiles here if you had one of those pre-drawn. But I'm going to use this here, and I'm going to cut this in half because I only need to create half of this ornamental piece, and then we can copy the other half over. Bring this up here about a 1/2 inch. Draw an edge up here about a 1/2 inch, and draw this over, and then maybe mirror this piece across here. And now I'm creating our profile here. Select those 2 edges and move them up. And maybe scale this here just a little bit. Maybe scale that in just a little bit and call that good. I'm going to group and delete the rest of that. And then we have our profile sitting here in a group perpendicular to the path. I'm going to select the polyline path. Now I'm going to run follow me after the path is selected. And you see the path disappears, but the follow me operation is still active. So I can right click on our profile, go to edit group, and then click the profile surface, and now we have our subdivision shape. And we can go and unsoften this. We see we have good quads here. If we wanted to, we could create quads in the back as well, just by selecting the face, one edge, and then running split sausage from the split tools, which is a plugin from TIG. And that would go around and make all of those connections there. But for now, we want to actually delete this back surface because I want to make sure that these sets of edges here stay coplanar. So what we're going to do here with this shape is we're going to turn it into a component, and we're going to move that here and then flip that. So move it on the green axis, and we can flip that there on the red axis, and then snap that back, and we can see we have the shape there all the way. And those are both components. So now if we hit our SubD operation, that'll go around and create a symmetrical subdivision here. Got some issues that we have to fix in some areas, but for the most part we can look at this shape now and we see we have good flow. It's matching up pretty well. We can grab that if we want and increase a subdivision level and go up one subdivision level higher here, and we'll see this will smooth out even further the faceting here. And now we can close that and take a look at that, and that's matched up pretty well to our reference image overall. So let's get inside here. I'm going to turn that subdivision level back down so we can toggle SubD on and off a little bit quicker there. So, and I have that set to a shortcut as well, which helps with modeling. And I can get inside of here now, and as long as I have in my model info, I have both of these set to hide, it will hide everything else. So just focus on our shape we're working on, and I can toggle SubD on and off even while I'm inside of the group there. You see we're toggling that on and off. So now the first thing we want to do is get in, and SubD subdivided this face here at the bottom, and I want to grab that, and what we're going to do here is we want to create that little tapered end there. So I'm going to bring this in and actually maybe pull this down. Let me see what this looks like. Grab that, and I'm going to use Frito scale and scale this in here. And it's creating triangles. So let's see if I can bring this up here. And I'm going to bring out another group first, or another face. So I'm going to push-pull this and tap Control here. And now I want to try to scale this, and we see we're getting a better scaling here, that we don't have the triangles. So I don't like this little piece here. Look at this here. I think we created a face in the back. Don't want that. I'm going to grab this and see if I can remove it there. So it doesn't look too bad. Looks like we still created some triangles in there, but I'm going to try to put an edge loop here now in the middle. And I want to try to move this out here. I'm going to try to use vertex tools. Let's see if I can tweak this here. And I'm just trying to create a little bit of a better flow here overall. And maybe grab these lower edges here and do the same thing. And bring them in a little bit. Like that. And get in here. And I'm going to actually scale this down a little bit further here. And now I want to toggle SubD and just see what that little end looks like there. And that looks pretty good overall. If we look at the points that we have up here, I'm going to scale that down just a little bit too far, but that's okay. Get in here, turn off SubD. And just grab this section here, and we just scale this face itself back up just a little bit. Put it that way just a little bit. And what I want to do now is I have a little issue. I want to make sure that all of these edges here are coplanar, and we can see that all of these are coplanar because I'm getting a face being created, but these two here aren't. So I want to grab just that edge. I'm going to move that out in this direction. I'm going to snap it to this face up here. And then I'm going to grab just this edge. Put a little construction guide here. I'm going to move just that edge out. I'm going to snap that to this face as well. So now everything should be coplanar. And if I would redraw this edge, I should get a face on the whole back here, which is what I want. I want all these edges to be coplanar so that the other half matches up here. And we could probably even get in here, and we're going to do some creasing that'll help stabilize some things there. Now we just want to do the same thing up here. We want to add that little detail on the end here. So I'm going to bring that down, and we're going to grab that, and we're going to go Frito scale, pull that down to about there. See if maybe get rid of this face first. Maybe I can grab this edge loop with quad tools and remove it. And that might actually be okay. Let me check here and turn on SubD again. And it doesn't look too bad overall. Get out and look at that. A little flat in there. So let's get back in there. And let's turn off SubD. Now let's just put an edge loop through here. So let's do a ring selection, add an edge loop right there, and I'm going to use the vertex tools, and we're just going to pull that out just a little bit like that. Looks good. And now we're going to come in here again, and we just need to fix this backside here, make this coplanar, and delete those edges there. We're going to do the same thing here. Grab that edge, pull it along this guide, and snap it to there. And then I'm going to delete those, delete that, and I can again just double check by redrawing that, making sure I get an edge everywhere, and that lets me know the backside is coplanar, so everything is matching up there. So that looks good. I'm happy with that. Toggle this one more time, take a look at what this looks like with SubD, and it looks really good. So now we want to go in and do some creasing here, and I could do this while we're subdivided. And the first thing I want to crease is I'm going to grab this edge here and grab this edge here, and I'm going to do a loop selection, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to grab the Crease tool, and I'm going to click on one of these black areas here, and you can see that bring that up and start creasing that. And now we can grab this middle edge here, do a loop, grab our Crease tools, and you see we can crease that up or down here. Now let's grab this edge and this edge. We're going to do loop selections on those and run our crease. I'm going to bring that up pretty high. Let's bring that up to about 80 something. 85, let's say. 87 works. And now I just want to grab this back edge loop here and grab that all the way around, grab our Crease tool, and bring that all the way to 1, or we can right click and go to infinitely sharp. And that looks good. Let me turn off SubD for a second. And I just want to maybe crease this edge here. And turn back on SubD. And if we toggle this off here, we can see what's happening. We're splitting all the way around, so we need to toggle all of these edges into creasing here. So let me get back into our group, turn off SubD, and we need to crease these edges as well. Now let's toggle SubD. That should hold those in place a little bit better there. And give us a little better connection there between those two. And we do the same thing over here. We're going to turn this off, get inside our group, toggle SubD off, and let's crease this edge and this edge. And see what that looks like. So that looks pretty good overall. And now we can grab that and let's turn up our subdivisions 2 times. Let's turn that up one more time, really even this out. And it takes a little while here. On a mesh like this, it's relatively complex overall. There we go. And we can see that there. I think these edges here on this side might be a little bit too sharp. And I want to get in there and just grab those here. And now I'm going to do a loop selection, go back into our crease here, and might be a little bit slow because of how many subdivisions are on here, but I just want to grab this and pull this down just a little bit here. Something like that. That looks good. Now, you can get in here and I'm gonna maybe even take this group here and just scale this in just a little bit here. So let me grab both of these from here and scale them. And it's a little thick for the back of that chair. So you can see that overall. Probably a little bit too heavy. So we can get in and let's just turn down the subdivisions here. There we go, that looks pretty good. And let's add a material to that. So I have a material here that I set up, and I'm just going to get into our shape here, select everything, and paint that. And make sure our textures are turned on there. And now we can pull up Thea render here, and we're just going to take a look at this in the viewport. And with some reflective material, we can really pick up the nuances of our shape here that we created. And I'm going to pull this out just a little bit this way so we can see the whole thing. And I'm going to get in and to rendering and turn off those edges just for now. And I think overall that would do the job. I think we can go around now and use that similar technique and similar profile here. And now that we've worked out how to do it here on the first one, we can go around and pretty quickly do the rest of these. And I'll come back in part 2 and we'll work on some of these other details and then continue modeling the chair. So we will see you in the next video.